Well, our group, Benton County Community Rights Coalition, formed about a year ago with an eye on passing countywide legislation that would, among other things, ban genetically modified organisms and the associated agriculture from our county. And we did that to protect our food system, which is a locally based food system that's growing every year. And we view it as our duty to do so because we're all part of this food system. So we felt threatened by this form of agriculture coming in, and we wanted to do something about it. The reason we took the community rights tack is because we met at a talk by Paul Cienfuegos in March of 2012. And he presented us with an option for a type of activism that was new to us. This was not your standard activism, he said. This is a community rights-based approach. And what that means is that we're getting back to the basics of democracy, because what we have is not, we have like you said earlier, a crisis of democracy. The people aren't really able to decide in most cases now, things like as basic as what our food system will look like. So we wrote it with the community rights language, which elevates the rights of nature and the rights of citizens above the rights of corporations to decide what our food system would look like in this case. I mean, corporations have so many protections under the law, state and federal law, that enable them to attack an ordinance like ours if it didn't elevate our rights above theirs. There's two types of this type of work. We call one the straight-up ban, for instance, and ours is a community rights-based approach. A straight-up ban would just say, hey, we're going to get a majority of this county's population to say we want to ban GMOs from the county. And that's great, but you open yourself up to legal attack by corporations, because they can invoke the Interstate Commerce Clause, the U.S. Constitution. They can invoke Dillon's rules, state preemption. There's so many tools in their toolkit that allow them to squash your ordinance.
Right. You can also say you're violating some of their basic Fifth Amendment rights or something like that.
Yeah, they have so many protections under the Constitution now that it really is flipped from how the Constitution was written, which says all power is inherent in the people, and governments and corporations are subordinate to that power. So we're really getting back to the basics of democracy by invoking the people's right to decide.
So they're taking we the people out of the toolbox and starting to use it.
That's right. So we're stepping outside the standard regulatory box, what CELDF calls the box of allowable activism, which basically means petitioning your legislators, one or two other tools, which ultimately may not be as effective because you're relying on other people to do this work for you. There's only so many letters you can write to a legislator. Ultimately, they have to decide. Well, we're bringing it back to letting the people decide and making it enforceable so that if it does pass, it'll have the teeth to survive legal challenges.